Welcome to Rockmandash Reviews. This is my review of Steins Gate, the visual novel. Steins Gate is a visual novel which was a cooperative project by 5PB and Nitroplus. This is the second game in the science adventure game series. You know, the stuff with the semicolon in the middle. The first game is Chaos Head, and the third is Robotics Notes. This is one of my favorites, so let's see how this shapes up in this review. To put it simply, the writing of Steins Gate is phenomenal. Steins Gate is a very genre-savvy visual novel about time travel. The keyword here is about, as a lot of series use time travel, but they almost never go into how it works. How time travel works is the main premise of Steins Gate, and it even has references to real theories, real groups, and real people. The rules of time travel might be pseudoscience, but Steins Gate sticks with these rules and makes it feel like a real thing. The plot is structured very well, almost like it was meticulously handcrafted like a luxurious item. One thing that might bother some people is the pacing, which starts out slow. I don't believe the slow pace at the beginning holds back at the writing at all, as the time is used very well to develop the characters, and it makes this game very enjoyable when they do eventually punch your gut in Chapter 5. Even if you don't think the beginning is slow, it definitely picks up. Once it picks up, you need to be prepared for one of the best experiences you have ever experienced, with outstanding character development, unique scenarios because of this time travel plot, and an atmosphere that will blow your mind. It's an intellectual roller coaster, and it is a very fun one. Steins Gate follows the Future Gadget Lab and their adventures with time travel. By complete accident, the lab manages to send an email back into time, and the Future Gadget Lab learns to use time travel, but with massive consequences, i.e. butterfly effect. One thing that Steins Gate nailed with the writing is the balance between humor and seriousness, and that's one thing that games and shows don't really get. Out of all the amazing characters in the game, the protagonist, Okabe Rintaro, aka steals the show. Okabe's Chunibyo habit is grating at the beginning, but he slowly grows to you, and he has some of the best character development I've seen in anything ever. Next up is Makise Kurisu, a tsundere genre-savvy smart girl, but done in a unique way which makes her very enjoyable. She's a great female lead, and is personally one of my favorites out there. Last but not least, well, for this list, is Shina Mayuri, our Airhead cosplayer, who's usually a relief character, but has a surprising amount of depth. I could go on and on about the characters, as they are all great. And the same could be said about the writing in general about this game. It's great, and I can go on and on about it. That's just how good it is. The gameplay is played pretty straight, but it might throw you off as it does change some things. Like every other visual novel, you make choices and you read a lot, but gone are the flowcharty gameplay most visual novels are, as this is a very linear visual novel, and the choices you make do not change the plot entirely, they change what endings you get. Also, the way you make decisions is slightly different in Steins Gate. In Steins Gate, they have this phone trigger system when, wherever you get a message or call, you have to choose things, and depending on your choices within this phone trigger system, things will change. The phone trigger system is very subtle, and is a nice and unique way of interacting with the game. Steins Gate has many small changes that make it unique, and after playing through so many visual novels that have little to no change in the gameplay department, it's a very nice change of pace.
No.
Hooray for 16 by 9! This is one of the nicest looking visual novels I've ever played, and being in 16 by 9 is something that really just makes my day. As when I play it in full screen, it's actually like what it's supposed to, without the black borders on each side. About the visuals of the game itself, Steins Gate has this nice watercolored pixelated style to it, and it really makes it quite unique. The way they use it in promo art and even random parts in the game helps set it from other visual novels, and it keeps your eyes open. It's a very aesthetically pleasing game. Everything is pleasing to the eye, from random items in the game like the Upas, to the character designs, to the backgrounds. There aren't a lot of visual novels that can compete to the charm and aesthetics this game has with its unique style. The sound in Steins Gate is pretty good. I thought it did a great job at picking the cast for the voiceover, as they did an amazing job with the characters, and it helps make the experience better. I'll never think of Mayuri without thinking of the excellent toot-doo the voice actor did. And on a side note, the voices are the same as the Japanese version of anime, but they sound different because they're different recordings. It's a pretty easy transition to make for the most part, but if you're used to one of them, it might be a little jarring. As for the soundtrack, I liked it for the most part, as the music was pretty decent. Most of the music was pretty good, and there were some stellar songs in the game, but I wish the music overall was a bit better. Some of the usage of the soundtrack isn't the greatest, and it could be improved. One thing I did enjoy about the soundtrack was the ringtones that they have in the game. I have set my ringtone on my phone as one of the ringtones in the game, and it's a pretty decent ringtone. Steins Gate has some good tracks, but it does have some forgettable parts too.
そうか。できるかもしれない。
I love Steins Gate. If I didn't, I wouldn't be making 2 simultaneously released reviews, check out Tay for that, and I wouldn't have bought all this stuff, right? I think with the charm of the characters and the best usage of time travel just steal the show with me. I love how Steins Gate spends so much of its time showing all the consequences of time travel, which is something you don't see that often. While the game and the anime are remarkably similar, they are a very different experience. They have minor differences, but I feel like the way most of it is executed in the game has more impact, and a good example of that would be the final scene with the credits. I feel that the visual novel is a better experience overall, as it's more immersive, more unique, and has more content overall. If I was going to recommend a version, I'd recommend the visual novel. Because I played through the fan translation, some of the official translation choices confused me. Mainly, the changing of Ruka's name to Luka. That's just stupid. This is just nitpicking though, and it probably won't hinder your experience. The strong points of Steins Gate overall though is that the story is relatable, it has a great concept, and it's executed very well. What else is there to ask for in a game? This is a formula for a great experience. Steins Gate is an experience that nobody should miss. This is an amazing game that covers all the nitty-gritty about time travel. Something that other shows and games in the past have always been too afraid to cover. With a great concept and a great execution, this is a no-brainer. This is one of the best experiences I've had in any medium ever. I'm sure it'll be just as amazing for you. I give this a Rockmandash Remarkable and a 9.75 overall.